Well then, greetings to all. The event is kicking off. Here we are. Hello to everyone. So here we are conducting some interviews after our dry fasting experience in Châtel. Feedback is good. About 3 weeks, a month later. Now we are joined by Serge, who came for the first time to do a dry fast. So you had a goal of 5 days. You didn't want to go further, and you ended up doing a bit more. You went for 6 days. I wanted to discuss how your first experience went with you, and then, well, tell us a bit about what you experienced during the dry fast. A little bit about how it went for you, how you experienced this first dry fast. I'm not sure if you had any experience with water fasting before, I can't recall, but you jumped right in. And then, well, if you could tell us a bit about your experience.
With pleasure. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Michel. Well, indeed, it was my first time doing a dry fast. So, my situation is that I don't have any known health conditions, so it was more of a continuation of a health improvement process to exist, for tidying up, for renewal. In fact, I had aimed for a 5-day period since I wanted to avoid going to extremes. I'm somewhat familiar with water fasting, obviously. I have been very interested in health and nutrition for a long time. So I didn't want to go too far to avoid putting my body through something too extreme. I set a goal of 5 days. It was more of a discovery for me. I had received a lot of positive feedback from people I know very well, close friends who had experienced this with you. They had nothing but good things to say. It piqued my interest since I'm always seeking new experiences. I aimed for 5 days, possibly 7 if all went well. I ended up stopping at 6. The reason I stopped at 6 was that it was my very first time. I was somewhat taken aback by it, to be honest. The sensation of thirst caught me off guard. I wasn't familiar with that feeling. I'm not someone who drinks a lot of water, and I rarely feel thirsty, but starting from the 5th day, it really hit me. So on the 6th day, I made the decision on the evening of the 5th day to keep going through the night. I was pleased to do the last 12 hours and then start again. Actually, I sensed that amazing things occurred during this fasting period. I had significant revelations and numerous realizations. It was very powerful. You talked about a state of grace in another account. Even after 6 days, I experienced this sense of smoothness in my energy. There was nothing left. Yes, nothing blocks the energy or emotions. So it flows, it moves freely. It was wonderful. I felt really good, and I didn't want to go any further for my first time. It was truly an initiation for me. So this is the context. When it comes to water fasting, I can say that it is significantly more intense and occurs at a much quicker pace. It's something I could give you a brief summary of at the end of the interview if you want, but the conclusions I've drawn are that regarding water fasting, it's much more radical. It happens immediately, Something occurs right away, and I think it's more about not having water or drinks. We immediately engage in the process. We're more involved It's extremely intense.
That is exactly it. So it is a water fast, but at power 10, If we want, we do not waste time. The body detoxifies at a much quicker rate and regenerates significantly faster. The results are truly, it's night and day. Again and again, we have people who have come to our retreats, who have done water fasting, who have certain pathologies, who returned. Moreover, there isn't truly a curative effect from water fasting, even for young individuals who have completed 3 or 4 weeks. They drained their energy over time. They didn't recover their health quickly. They felt quite fatigued when they started eating again, something that doesn't happen with dry fasting. Thus, I wanted to highlight the benefits. Are you sensing any benefits after just 4 or 6 days? Could you qualify the benefits you've experienced? Are there any digestive changes, energy levels, etc.? Are you noticing any differences from before?
Yes, of course, of course. What I also wanted to mention about the process is that, in fact, I didn't really have a crisis, healing, pain, symptoms, or rebound effects. I only completed 6 days. It's not a long fast, but I was still pleased with it. I had a tiny headache on the third day, but it was very light. I was still fatigued, I should mention. I had minimal energy. I didn't walk much. To be honest, I'm not much of a walker. Sports aren't my top choice, but I felt low on energy. Nevertheless, I was surprised to find myself active and dynamic. The main point is the clarity of my mind. That's what happened to me. During this fast, I had some truly significant revelations regarding my personal life, both in terms of my diet and my life choices, etc. This is something I felt very strongly thanks to this fast, as there are no more obstacles, nothing at all. Your mind is clear. You feel a deep connection with others, with the group, and with the feedback. We can also discuss the treatment and the group's support, but this is truly the main benefit for me. The focus is on mental clarity. Suddenly something very specific appeared to me, something that was obvious but that I hadn't recognized before. Now the benefits are clear. Clearly I have an extensive list of advantages. Currently I am at 28 days plus 28 after resuming. Therefore, the day I began my recovery, I am now at 28 days. So, a lot of things were calculated before the interview, to be precise. However, I've experienced numerous amazing benefits, including digestion, transit, mental state, mood, and openness. Really, there is a clarity that is present. So I have a lot of vitality. I already have this clarity, but now I felt it even stronger. The entire ENT sphere is also clear. There is no more nasal congestion, no more sinus issues that I sometimes had in the morning. That's over. My body odor has changed as well. It is now more pleasant. The vitality returned fairly quickly. I resumed sports directly on the 10th day of my recovery. Very quickly, I regained my endurance. I needed just 2 swimming workouts to get back to my 2-kilometer distance. I've become much more flexible with yoga. In just 3 weeks, I regained the weight I lost, plus an additional kilo already.
See, it's a bit what you wanted, maybe to gain a bit more mass.
Currently, I'm in a phase focused on sports and bodybuilding. I can feel that my body is absorbing nutrients better. I've already put on a kilo in just 3 weeks. So it's great. Not only have I regained what I lost, but I'm already in a gaining phase. There's definitely something improving in terms of absorption.
The digestive system has been completely renewed. Of course, all the micronutrients you consume will be redistributed much more effectively at the cellular level. Due to the toxins that have been eliminated, the restructuring of the enterocytes is taking place. The digestive barrier is better, which helps absorb all nutrients. All of this has been renewed, especially in terms of moisture. They always say it takes about 7 days, but we can already see that after 6 days, there's been some interesting progress. In your case, for sure.
It was really striking, very clear. I also really enjoyed the recovery because it went very well.
Can you tell us a bit about the reintroduction? Because you finished a bit earlier than others. You were one of the first to start again. Therefore, you had nearly 8 days of reintroducing food in a group setting. How did that experience unfold?
I loved it since the reintroduction is very gradual. We stay at 200 calories, starting with 200, then 250 and 300 calories in the first days. So we keep going. There's something that continues. A deep cleanse happens. What's amazing is that this treatment lasts 2 weeks, and I realized why. Because this reintroduction week is crucial in fasting, but here it's even more so. And since it's very gradual with few calories, the cleansing continues. We take our time. It's great to do this as a group. We take the time to chew our food. We take the time to... So digestion is definitely better. I found it amazing how it gradually incorporates nutrients. I could only get protein on the 3rd, 4th, or even 5th day. Initially, I was just eating vegetables. I believe this is quite significant. The recovery is what truly matters in fasting. And with you, Adaria, everything is done so wonderfully. Eating together in a group is an ecstatic experience. There's a point to that. Fasters understand, but this is even more powerful. Having not eaten or drunk for 6 days, the first glass of water, all of that was an intensity I had never known before. I've never felt anything this intense, despite my extreme experiences. But really, the first sip of water, the first slice of watermelon, the first little broth, everything takes on a... Like you mentioned, it's a state of grace, a profound gratitude. Many vibrational and emotional things are occurring.
Sure. Thank you. What did you think of the general atmosphere of the surgery? The chalet-like ambience, the meeting field despite the uncertainty. What did you think of it? How did everything unfold? The interactions with others and the exchanges were significant.
Me? I loved it. We talked about it a lot. I found the support and guidance to be excellent. The setting is, of course, beautiful. It's a chalet close to nature and rivers in the mountains during summer, so it's a bit cooler. It's very well chosen. There are activities that fill the day. I didn't know that, by the way, because you don't mention it in the program, but I was surprised. It's refreshing because it is quite long. Not eating or drinking can be tough, but there is yoga in the morning. Also, what's great is that you can choose to participate or not. Everyone is free to decide based on their condition. It's really nice. There are activities, but everyone does as they like. Regular group sharing occurs. Blood pressure is monitored to assess some parameters and understand our status. This is reassuring. You contribute a significant amount of knowledge. What I appreciated most was the exchange of insights in the group. This experience genuinely led to transformative awareness for me. For 25 years, I've been following this path. Recently, I've reached a point where I've made changes and adapted my methods, all thanks to this group. I owe it all to you, this group, Loic, and everyone else. The quality of our exchanges was exceptional, and I was filled with gratitude. There's also the Schumann plate that allows you to... If you don't have the energy to walk, you can still move your body, your lymph, your blood circulation, etc. There are group hikes. It's wonderful they offer that. There's psycho-emotional work too, which caught me off guard. I often felt challenged thinking I wasn't here for a therapy group. I came here to fast, so every day there were sharing sessions, and honestly, it was fantastic. It was fantastic as we got to share our life stories and paths, plus it really feels refreshing. And there you have it, those who are those with a bit more experience in this, they coach the others. And there is a lot of generosity. There are many exchanges. The sauna for recovery is on my list. Massages too, but they're not included. However, for those who can afford it, it's super beneficial because getting massages, I managed to have at least 4, I think. Obviously, when you don't eat, you don't drink. It's fantastic to get that lymph flowing. So honestly, the cure itself is fantastic. It's really fantastic. Great job. I mentioned that I genuinely want to return. I've been talking about it a lot to those around me since then. There are people I tell to go do this. It's a gift. It's a gift you give yourself truly. Whether you have a disease or not, it's definitely something to try.
What impressed you the most about this treatment? What surprised or impressed you? Will there be an element that would have stood out to you? Will there be something that would have caught your attention? Caught off guard during this recovery? Yes.
Like I mentioned, it's somewhat about the psycho-emotional work, focusing on emotional release. Many powerful events have occurred for many individuals. I was very touched. That was striking. I didn't expect that. As I told you, I came to fast, period, but that was very beneficial. What also stood out to me was the recovery process. It was executed well, and that's super important. I've often fasted. I manage my recoveries quite well, but still, when you're alone, I've heard many who fast struggle with recoveries, sometimes giving in to cravings. Here you can't because you're with others. You don't appear to be precise. So I believe that's a notable aspect of this treatment. What also stood out to me was the return. When I came back, for the first 2 or 3 days, I felt completely out of place in the city. Oh dear, I was in a different state. I was wobbling. Still, I had strength and all. But I can't quite describe it. I felt like, yes, on the first day of my return, I visited the market the following day. However, I felt quite uneasy. In the crowd, all that. It took me 2 or 3 days to...
End of this
to feel less out of place. There's a heightened sensitivity, you know.
video.
Still, I've done meditation retreats before. Coming back is always a challenge, but this time it was even stronger. So, yeah, that's what I can recall. And then I also noted,
Has your relationship with food and water changed after this cleanse? Were you able to have you been able to make any beneficial changes following this cleanse? And could you share a bit? It's often an issue for many, their relationship with food when they binge. They eat too much sugar and meat. They overeat excessively. They struggle to control themselves. Has this cleanse brought you anything on that level?
listen, I have been very particular about my diet for a long time. So I would say that this is something I manage quite well. All right. I am quite strict and disciplined. Since I had to heal myself, I should clarify that I've been recovering from some significant health problems for the last 20 or 30 years. Thus, much of it has revolved around my diet, so that's okay. I haven't faced any problems because I follow a strict eating plan. However, yes, there have been changes. There have clearly been changes. For example, to give something quite striking, I was vegetarian for 25 years, and now I have really become aware of the importance of increasing the amount of animal protein, of eating everything, and to be a bit less restrictive. And I feel that it's beneficial for me. I've slightly increased my consumption of eggs and fish. I've even begun eating meat again. It amuses those around me because I used to share my knowledge extensively back in the day. And now I am in the process of deconstructing all of this in a rather thorough and documented way. Plus, I am learning some really interesting things thanks to you as well, thanks to the sharing we've had. I ate in there also. I am deconstructing some things that were quite tied to beliefs I held. Now I am more focused on the factual. And I like to question myself because it's important, so I'm not afraid to reflect on myself, and now this is a big change. I eat a bit of meat. I felt that desire for meat while fasting. I craved it during the fast, and it had been 25 years since I last ate it. And I feel like I was lacking amino acids because plant proteins are good, but we don't absorb them the same way. They don't have the same digestibility as animal proteins. And I really learned and understood this during the fast. You see, this was a revelation.
There? Yes, absolutely, absolutely right. Animal proteins are still important depending on the person's temperament. Also, it's about their feelings. If you got a call, you were meant to go. There are rules, and the body is made of proteins. We need that to work. Indeed, plant proteins are quite difficult to extract and do not always provide sufficient amino acids for most individuals. So that's really it.
That's truly what we should look at. Yes, but I engage in a lot of endurance sports. I want to put on some weight. I haven't been gaining any weight in recent years. But obviously, because I wasn't in a caloric surplus, whereas to gain weight, you need to eat a bit more. Plus, especially with these plant proteins, it's somewhat limited. So I can already see the results. After 3 weeks, more than 3 weeks, I can already see changes in my body and my physiology. I possess a significant amount of vitality and endurance. However, at this moment, I sense that there is something occurring with my weight, strength training, and related aspects. This is a blessing from the fasting period, really. Because of you, Loic, and others, I have gained so much. We have discussed this extensively. I am hungry for knowledge and self-reflection. I've come to understand that the secret lies in consuming a variety of foods. It's really about eating a bit of everything. I think it's very important. Moreover, humans are omnivores. I used to believe we were naturally vegetarian, but that's false. When examining comparative anatomy, the various digestive systems indicate that we are omnivores. We eat meat, and we've been doing so since prehistoric times.
Absolutely. If you observe great apes like gorillas, what do they eat? Insects, fish, and coastal foods. They consume a wide variety of things. Thus, especially regarding vegetarianism.
There's something, we won't launch it anyway, but regarding the brain, it's interesting. I discovered that they haven't evolved in terms of their brains precisely because they don't eat much animal protein. We have this brain that has become super powerful, and it's precisely thanks to the significant intake of animal proteins when we started cooking meat, etc. This is something that is now proven. The large primates have not advanced much in brain size. They are quite intelligent, but we are still higher up in the evolutionary ladder. That's a side note, but it was crucial for me during this fasting. So here it is. I'm currently experimenting with these dietary changes on myself, really.
Let's return to so you're an athlete. How's your physical condition? Well, it's been about a month since then. So you can already notice a slight boost in your vitality and physical performance even after a month, right? That's something, isn't it? Yes.
But not really, because I already had great physical condition. What I see, in fact, is muscle gain. So I'm just starting out. I could give you an update in 6 months, but I can already see that. I notice my digestion is better and I feel my transit is improving, but my energy and stamina were already excellent. So I don't see much change now. It's true that during the first swimming sessions in the water, I felt a bit lighter. I felt like I had wings. The same with cycling. When I got back on the bike, I felt a bit like I had wings because I'm a climber. But now, well, it hasn't changed much. I already had that, you know.
It's, well, very well. There you go. I have a little, I don't know if you have anything else to add about the support, perhaps. The support. And then if you have more, any suggestions?
Yes, a few months. Well, I said the support was great. I mentioned it a lot during the fasting. You, Daria, all of that, really good. We feel safe. You have a sense of understanding. There is a wealth of knowledge. You are aware of your actions. This feeling is very strong in you. Your strength is comforting. For me, it was truly a very intense, very bright, and really vibrant experience. But still, I must say it was difficult. It's not easy. That's what made me start drinking again after 6 days. I could have gone further, but mentally, it's not easy. I was surprised by that. Now, for the second time, I'm really excited. I want to keep going. I want to do it again. It will be different. I'll find it easier. But the first time is tough, obviously. On the other hand, the guidance is fantastic. The group provides a lot of support as well. That's definitely worth mentioning. Although it's challenging, we really feel supported. That's a very remarkable aspect of this group and your presence. But for me, it's the most powerful of all the health experiences I've had.
Yes, so there's a lot of time, right? I have a question too, for sure. So you have experience with natural medicine. What is your assessment of this dry fasting method in relation to all that you know regarding its therapeutic effectiveness?
In my opinion, that's what I express. I think it's the most potent method. I haven't witnessed its healing effects, but I've read extensively about it. I've also gone through much of your book. I've heard numerous interviews and specialists, and it seems to be validated. Regardless, I've seen people who fasted alongside me. I've been following people for a year who started with you even over a year ago. There are several individuals I'm in contact with who have healed from Lyme disease. It's not just Loic. There are several others. There's Elisa. There are also people dealing with hepatitis C and similar issues. I think it's genuinely one of the strongest methods available. However, it's not for everyone since preparation is required. I believe it's important to come to dry fasting with some prior preparation. You indeed ask for preparation. If you're prepared, you can gain real benefits. I believe this is the most powerful thing, clearly. That's why I want to do it again for preventive and healing purposes. How to say detox, etc. once a year, then short weekly dry fasts. But 24 hours, I think that's fantastic.
All right. Would you have any advice for someone who might be interested in this method? How to go about it? Practice it? Yes.
It's best to do it under supervision. I believe that's crucial for the first time. With you or others, I'm not certain. Not many offer that. It's crucial to do it with proper guidance. Avoid going solo, and above all, make sure to prepare. I believe preparation is key. You don't need 3 months for that. Make sure to try a few experiences lasting 24, 36, or 48 hours to test yourself. And especially cleanse well 2 days or the day before. Cleansing your bowels is important. I did it. So during fasting, you feel free and good. Benefits appear instantly, you know. Energy flows quickly. Here's my tip.
It's true that it's not necessarily required for dry fasting because the feces are dehydrated, but we have still observed that for receiving massages, for walking, being free at the digestive level, having emptied out, you feel more comfortable and you have more energy, I'd say, in the cleanse if you've emptied than if you haven't. That's what we, yes,
And
and like
since it's a dry fast, you can't do an enema, unlike a wet fast. If you still have 2 or 3 big meals in your intestines, I know I feel bad if I fast and haven't done an enema, so the cleanse you recommend is a very good idea. Because when you arrive, you really feel empty, free. And your emotional energy also improves significantly. Everything circulates much better. I felt that, you know.
Indeed, you are completely correct. I will leave the last word to you. Oh, that's wonderful. If you have something to add that you'd like to share or say, well, here it is.
Sure. The final word is just gratitude. It's truly a big thank you to you, to this method, and to the whole Russian tradition with all these great masters, all the yogis, and all those people. A deep gratitude. Because, yeah, there's a method that is really great. So, thank you for making that possible and spreading it.
Yes. So thank you very much, Serge, for your testimony. And I also really enjoyed getting to know you and everything you've brought to the group. Indeed, everyone adds their piece to the puzzle, and that's what makes it rewarding. Thank you, and I hope to see you again for the next retreat. Absolutely, I'd love that. If you know how to reach me, it's all good. Thanks once more. Okay, now it's your turn, please.
See you. See you later.